Hey, everybody, welcome to the Art of Relationship show. You can catch the show as you are now live all over the place on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Throw out your comments, your questions, anything I can talk about. Going to be talking about sexual compatibility and what that means to you, not to me, but to you. And what do you do about it if you are not compatible in an intimate way with your current partner, or are you looking for too much down the road? Don't go anywhere. We're going to be talking about this and other compatibility aspects right after this on the Art of Relationship show. So don't go anywhere. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Art of Relationship show. I am live, and as always, you can throw in your comments and questions down below in the chat, okay? And if you're watching live on Instagram, I still need to find out how to have people join live, and I'd love to have a few people join live throughout their questions and everything out there as well. So, going to be talking about sexually compatible in your relationship, in your marriage, and also what for those single people out there, or if you're stuck in a relationship and you love that person, whatever, but you're just not sexually compatible. What are things? Number one, okay, let's talk about, are you able to even talk about sex in your relationship or marriage or in your dating realm? Because for a lot of people, it is awkward. They're shy. They look at it as just, oh, that's private. That's whatever. I'm going to close off, sort of hide from it, right? I want people to be open and honest. And why in the Western Hemisphere, let's face it, in the US, okay, that people tend to be a lot more shy, a lot more even awkward about talking about their sexuality, what they like, what they don't like, what their wishes, what their desires are. And I love it because I see the younger generation couples in my office, that women and men in their 20s, right? Early 20s, mid 20s, late 20s, they're open and honest. Man, I want to try this. I want to try pegging. I want to try all these things. And I love it that, now, again, this is not for all of them in this age category, but this is a lot. And I look at people that are in their 40s, 50s, even 30s that is talking about sex and being compatible is still awkward for them. It's still, and I get it, how we're raised, religious, don't even get me going on them, religious views and cultural aspects, and to be able to look at what would it take to, to become more open. And it's part of life. It's part of being human. So why should we shy away from it? People have no problem talking about food, right? What food they like, what they don't like, what they like to drink, what type of dessert they want, right? Or what type of house they're looking for, where they want to live, what kind of car they want to drive. But when it comes to, medical aspects or sexuality, a lot of people shy away from it instead of owning it like they're going to be judged. They're going to be, there's going to be ramification to be able to look at, okay, what the hell's going on? Why can't I be open with it? That doesn't mean I want to do these things or be intimate with you, but at least I can talk about it and look at what's going on. Samina, I appreciate you joining up. So throw out your questions, throw out your comments out there and looking at what you go, what works for you, what doesn't work for you, or if you have any questions regarding how to approach, becoming more on the same page sexually, more intimately. And let's talk about this, okay? Let's hit up, what does sexually compatibility mean? Okay. And this can mean different things for different people. Like a lot of stuff in this field and with couples, I see and I've seen in my office over 2 decades now. Compatibility and what you want is very subjective, right? Nobody, no culture, no religion, no race. And I don't mean any disrespect by that to, Middle Eastern cultures or, Muslim cultures, religious. I don't mean any disrespect, but I'm like, what is wrong about talking about sexuality? And it tends to be taboo and very private. And I respect that. Okay. But I want people to be able to be open, especially in a committed relationship or being married, that you can talk about what you want, what you don't want, or in, some aspects, men can talk about it, but oh boy, women better not talk about this aspect about their sexual wants and needs and desires. And I look at, men will shame them, which is sad. They shouldn't. Excuse me, that they'll shun them, they'll shame them for what's going on. And that should never happen. Okay. I want women to be open. I want women to be honest and own their sexuality and what they want, what they don't want. And if their partner is not pleasing them, number one, are you able to talk about it? Are you able to join in and say, hey, this is what I want, this is what I don't like, and I'd love it for you to be more this way or that way? And are you able to be open and honest with that? Or are you afraid, let's face it, to crush our male ego, our pride, that type of situation? Okay. So I want people, number one, if you're unable to talk about your own sexuality, your needs, what you want, what pleases you, because most desire, and I talked about this a few times, that, most desire in the kick up and the increase of desire comes from pleasure. Okay. But we're also looking at not only compatibility with sexual pleasure, the physical element, but what about the emotional and the intellectual element? Are you able to talk about it? And are you able to be able to get, on the emotional, what sex means, compatibility on the mental aspects, the emotional aspects, and of course, let's face it, this physical pleasure. And a lot of people look at, okay, they're going to be confused, they're going to be awkward bringing this stuff up for being judged. Oh, you're this way, you're that way, you're raunchy, you're naughty. And there's a difference between, being a good girl or a good boy and a bad boy, bad girl. Ooh, what does that mean, anyways? That you treat people poorly. That's my view of it. That you treat people disrespectfully. You're selfish, maybe narcissistic, arrogant, and it's all about you. But why does sex have to incorporate being a good girl, good boy, that type of thing? Because over the years, let's face it, right? Society, culture, they're in the shaming and trying to control people, especially when it comes into their sexuality. And I don't want to, bash none of that. I'm all about, promoting sex positivity and being able to stop the shaming out there. Okay. So we look at sexual compatibility. Most of, people come in my office, right? And the biggest issue is about, what? Frequency, right? So you look at what is compatible about frequency, right? Somebody, woman, man, doesn't matter, right? They want sex every day, 7 days a week. And somebody wants it once every 6 months. That means you're not going to be compatible. And there's a lot of professionals in this field that will try to get people to compromise. And I'm a realist. Okay. We compromise on a lot of things, but if things are way, way opposite of extremes, how do you compromise, especially on something that's important to you? Right. Or you're having one partner trying to convince you that you need to be able to be a certain way. You need to be able to have sex this many times a week, a month, whatever, or somebody's trying to convince you that you want sex way, way too much, right? What is ideal is for each individual. It's ideal for each couple. And again, it's very subjective. Nobody, not me, no other professional, no one, relatives, religion, should ever tell you, what is right, what is wrong for you. Now, we're talking about consensually, right? I don't want anyone to get into coercive, actions, coercive behaviors, manipulating anybody or making them feel guilty to have sex with you. That's a turnoff. Okay. So let's go back about, sexual compatibility when it comes into frequency. Okay. And I talked about this. One person wants it every day of the week and everyone assumes it's men. Oh, hell no. There's a lot of women that want that. And one person wants it once every 6 months. You're not going to be compatible. That's not going to work. Okay. Now, Okay, if you're in a relationship and talking about sexual frequency, well, I'm okay having it once every 6 months, and I don't care if my partner goes out outside the relationship or marriage and has sex with somebody else, right? And this is one thing that has been open up. It's been a lot of situations um, out in the world lately about open relationships, about poly situations, or let's face it, swingers, okay? Couple swapping. And we all know there's a show out there, Sister Wives and all that, okay? So, hey, Chris, I appreciate you. Candy Kane, I appreciate you joining in too. Typically, I could do it every day, but I will settle for it at least 3 days. I'm in my sexual peak. Woohoo! And I talked about this at the beginning of the show about women owning their sexuality, and I love it. And again, sexual compatibility, you're looking at frequency, right? What is good enough for you? And is there a common theme with that? Okay. So, not only, with sex, I talked about, what is the value? What is your morals about sex, surrounding sex? Like I said, I work with all kind of couples, monogamous, open relationships, poly, bisexual. I work with all kind of sexual dynamics, if you will, in my office. I don't judge, I don't bash, okay? And I look at what works good for you. And I don't want someone selling themselves out saying, okay, I'm okay if we have an open relationship, but they really, really don't. Okay. They don't want to lose that partner. They don't want to, hey, George, hey, man. Oh my God, it's been a long time. Appreciate you, man. And I need to get downtown again and see you and Ethan and stuff too. I haven't even been over to see your brother in a while. Much love, man. I appreciate you joining in. But when it comes down to, what the morals and values are of sex, nobody talks about this or decides on this except you out there, okay? Except you and your partner. So, what is the meaning behind sex? Some people, it's just about physical pleasure, it's about getting rid of stress. Some people, it's a emotional connection, and the physical is secondary, okay? So you're looking at, compatibility. If you have someone that is all about, the emotional connection about sex, and the other one, it's only the physical pleasure of sex, and that's it. Forget about the emotional connection. You're not going to be compatible. And we look at, is there a way to integrate both? Is there a way that it's good enough for both of you? How can we have people maybe enjoy the sexual pleasures or physical pleasures of it and have somebody that is maybe getting more in tuned and more emotional, connected to eye contact, feeling each other's heartbeat, feeling each other's breathing, that aspect that you are able to enjoy each other's body, mind, heart, and soul integrated with that. So that's where we're talking about sexual compatibility, about what your, values are, what your morals are, monogamy versus, multiple partners or open relationship, um, swingers, a poly situation. Okay. And again, everything has to be consensual. It's not about coerciveness or manipulating or guilt tripping someone into or forcing someone to have sex when they don't want to. Okay. So we look at, what it comes down to. And again, what your morals and values are with sexual compatibility and what works good for you. We can talk about oral sex and anal, right? How many people, right? I always used to joke around anally and orally forever you and me will be, but you don't want to hear me sing, okay? But again, some people are against oral sex, right? Or some people are, oh yeah, I love getting oral sex, but I'm not going to be giving it. And I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? So we can look at maybe reasons why. Again, it's not guilt tripping. It's about, okay, what don't you like about it? Is it about myths? Is it about things that you were taught that were wrong about oral sex or anal for that matter, right? Um, are you able to talk about and open up about what these mean to you about values, judgment calls, right? And if you, some people love oral sex, some people don't. Some men love it, some women. And I'm all about do unto others, right? I love it myself. I love giving it. Absolutely. And I I'm not going to say I don't love it receiving it either. And then we can talk about not only those aspects about compatibility, what type of oral do you like? And we can talk about finishing the job. Everyone talks about, BJs, right? And a job is finishing it, right? So, is it about swallowing? Is it about spitting? Is it about there's no ejaculation in the mouth at all? That you do it in a towel, out in the air, on someone's body region, that type of aspect, right? So these are all compatibility aspects. And again, nothing is perfect, but it's what is good for you. And we can look at, myths. Do you think something's gross, dirty, oh my God, women bleed from there. That's why I don't. And there's a lot of misconceptions out there when it comes into these aspects, or you're a bad person if you like anal, or you like this or don't like this, right? Or even certain, anal play. What about not only those physical aspects, but the meaning behind those, what you enjoy, what you don't? And are you able to educate yourself about the sensory aspects, about the nerve endings and the pleasurable parts of the body when it comes to it? In the age old, question, or maybe complaint, if you will, maybe that's a better term, is talking about, foreplay, right? How many people, complain about foreplay, right? Believe it or not, there's men that are complaining about not getting enough or not having enough foreplay. It used to be a lot of women complaining about my man doesn't, my partner doesn't really do foreplay. They just want to stick it in and get right to it. And I'm like, that's sad, right? Because I'm all about women being pleased. Absolutely, right? I'm all about us men being pleased too. But it comes down to what type of foreplay works for you. Again, this is about compatibility. And, one person might be more into um tantric sex, okay? Or one person might be more into just missionary and that's all they want. That's okay. Again, it's not about bashing or trying to coerce somebody into being someone they're not. No, but I'm all about questioning, why are you this way? Where did your beliefs come from? Where did your values come from? And to challenge if there's myths out there, or you think something is gross, or you just don't enjoy it. And my question is, have you tried it? Have you not? And what gets in the way of you even trying something to see if it is pleasurable for you? And when it comes to sexual compatibility, again, it comes down to, are you able to even talk about it? Are you able to even ask or question anybody, or it's just a simple, nope, that's it. Nope, I said no, that's it. That's not me. That's it. Okay, great. It can be accepted. Or do you want to go more in detail and depth about it? And that person doesn't feel coerced or trying to be manipulated into liking something. It's having a conversation about it and talking, hey, why don't you like that? Or why do you think this is dirty, wrong, gross? That type of situation. Okay. So I want you to be able to, number one, be able to talk and be open and honest with each other about what sex even means. Hey, SK Green, I appreciate you joining in, man. So, number one, are you even compatible enough to even talk about sex, right? What you like, what you don't like, what you want to try, what doesn't work for you. Because some people are like, nope, I don't talk about it. I love it. We can have sex, but we're never ever going to talk about, what I like, what you like. Oh, hell no. And I'm like, what? For me, that would be not compatible with me, plain and simple. Okay. So are you mature enough to talk about it? Mature, let's be honest, has nothing to do with age. We think so. We would love it to have something to do with age, but not always. There's some people that are in their early 20s that can talk openly and honestly about what they like, what they don't want in this realm. And there's people in their 40s, 50s. They'll never talk about it. They'll never experiment. They have never self-pleasured themselves. And that's another aspect about, if you don't self-pleasure, how do you know what you like, what you don't like, and what's pleasurable for you to a certain extent? Okay, let's be honest. So, um, and there's myths about that too, right? Remember, if you self-pleasure, we're going to grow hair on our palms. We're going to go blind, go bald. Oh, wait a minute. Forget about going bald. Okay. But looking at those elements, are you able to even explore the myths, the misconceptions about sex and the value and the meaning that you have for it? And are these values, meanings behind sex and what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy, are they actually yours, or are they, let's face it, based on your friends, based on who raised you, based on maybe your grandmother raised you, right? They need to be based on you, right? You can look at and research and, try to experiment what you like. Absolutely. Okay. But I want people to understand their sexuality is their own. What you, and to give you permission to like and don't like what you want, but also they give you permission to be able to talk about it and to mature and to grow and evolve where it comes to about being sexually compatible and what works for you, what doesn't work for you. Okay. And again, it's not a right or wrong. It's not about shaming, bashing, ridiculing anybody. Okay. It's looking at, hey, you know what? Maybe it just doesn't work for me. And there's people talking about sexual compatibility. I still have people that wait until they get married to have sex, right? And I'm like, that's a dangerous slope. And I respect people's beliefs. But what happens if you're not sexually compatible, right? And part of this, you can talk about, man, I'm going to have sex. We're going to have sex every day. But if you don't, you can maybe have certain touching, petting, that type of stuff before you get married and have sex, right? And are you able to look at when you're thinking about all this, but that doesn't mean you're going to be sexually compatible. So that's what I talk about. And there's going to be some religious groups out there that are going to bash me. That's okay. I'm okay with it. I'm mature enough to handle it. Okay. But that's where you look at about sexual compatibility as well, is, styles, positions. I talked about anal, oral sex too, group sex, monogamy. These are all things to talk about and to, explore. And it's not that everything's for everybody. Hell no, no. I'm monogamous, right? I work with all kind of couples, like I said, poly, swingers, bisexual couples, open relation. I work with all type of couple. But for me, what works for me, that's part of me, is being monogamous. That's me. No big deal. And I can talk left and right about sex, about everything. Right. So, and I would love that in a partner. Right. So you look at these areas to compatibility and to challenge your beliefs in, are they myths or are they your beliefs about sex and about sexual compatibility, or were they delivered to you or promoted to you, or let's face it, they were directed to you and dictated to you based on who raised you, based on race, culture, religions. That's shameful. Okay. You're your own person. You have a right to explore your body and what is pleasurable to you. Now, also, what is pleasurable to you about sex, about the emotional, the mental aspects about it? Do you like to maybe have dirty talk? Right? Do you want to be reassured you're loved and how good you taste? Oh, baby, right? That you want to be kissed more, you want to integrate foreplay more. But not only that, what does it even entail? Foreplay. Is it kissing, caressing, touching, licking, nibbling? That type of situation, right? And we all get in certain moods, right? We might be in one mood where we want to throw each other up against a wall, in other moods where we're more loving, that we're more passionate, connecting, soulful, more heart to heart, slower. You get me? So we can have all that and be playful. And a lot of people, their view of sex is still only, oh, I'm only horny when we want to have a kid, right? Or we're only interested in sex when it's our, someone's birthday or anniversary. It's something we have to do. That's not hot. That's not attractive. But again, if it works for you, that's okay. You just need to be with a partner, again, that is compatible and that is okay with that. Nothing is perfect, but you want it close enough where it's good enough for both of you. So start talking about sex, people. Talk about even what sexual compatibility is, what you like, what your values are about sex, and where'd you even learn about sex, right? Who taught you? As me, maybe being old, right? We talk about friends, whatever, magazines, porn, and we know porn can be a useful tool, but we also have to look at the legitimacy of it and the reality of it. Okay. So we can learn a lot, but where do you go from um, to learn that? And that's exploring, doing research, joining maybe some sex positive groups out there. ASEC, American Association of Sex Educators, Counselors, and Therapists, which I'm a part of. Sexual Health Alliance is another one that you can explore and look at different things. And it's about not shaming and being able to explore what you enjoy and what you don't. Okay. Someone mentioned, let's see, I'm not sexually active, but I want sex 3 times a day. Oh, sorry. No, that's a week. Sorry. And some freakiness. And this is something that, we talk about and talk about sexual compatibility, freakiness, right? Everybody, hears the song and I love it too. I'm an old school hip hop, R&B, you know, soul fan, huge, right? Or, lady in the street freaking the sheets type of thing, or they want their man, I'm gonna freak you all night, right? So we look at, I'm gonna lick you up and down. You get me? So we look at all, and nobody wants to hear me sing, okay? Oh, I'm your fan since 2 years. I appreciate it, SK. Thanks so much. So we look at even defining freakiness, right? What does freakiness mean for somebody? And I talked about this on other episodes a while ago. For people, some freakiness is having sex with the lights on, where somebody else is being freaky is going to an orgy or, Japanese rope bondage, right? Or maybe freaky is, maybe being totally naked, having sex in the daytime in your living room. Again, freakiness needs to be defined and conservative, right? Somebody that might be sexually conservative might be someone's like, oh boy, she's a freak or he's a freak, right? So being conservative, sexually speaking, and being freaky means different things to different people. And this is what you have to talk about and discuss openly and honestly. Why not? Right? It's part of human existence. Sex still has a huge taboo following in North America, primarily in the US, and it shouldn't. You have too many conservative people, politicians. Oh my God. Don't even get me going on religious zealots out there that are trying to demean, belittle, and bash people and criticize people for their sexual appetites, for their sexual lives, and they shouldn't. It's none of their business. It's your business and it shouldn't be anybody else's. Okay. So please share the video. I love it, man. I'd love to try to help as many people out there. And I want you to have a greater sense of self, to have that self love and self respect in the concept of having that great relationship you've always craved and desired. Okay. Again, nothing's perfect, right? I will never ever promote, oh, everything's going to be perfect. No, but I want you to feel more connected. And that means sexually connected, emotionally connected, right? Mentally connected, and having, compassion and empathy for one another and making it safe that you can talk about anything, no matter if it's a little awkward or a little uncomfortable. I want you to expand and grow on that, especially sexually speaking. Okay. So check out my website, theartofrelationships.org. You can check me out all over the place on YouTube, Facebook under Love Guru Greg, Instagram people, which there's a lot of people on there now. I'd love you to be able to check everything out. And, I just started, I just heard of it. A friend of mine told me about it. Buy me coffee would be great. Buy me coffee under Love Guru Greg if you want to help support the show. And I'm hoping everybody has a happy holiday season, Christmas season. Kwanzaa's coming up too. Hanukkah was just passed. So I want to appreciate everybody for joining in, and let's keep spreading love and joy out there. And let's get rid of hate and get rid of all these biased attitudes out there. Okay. So I appreciate everybody. Peace and love to everybody out there. Everybody take care. Have a great, safe holiday.